Thank you, everybody here in the studio audience and everybody that's playing along at home. My name is Greg Aper. I am a designer now going on almost 25 years. That's kind of rough to say. Let's go through some things about me real quick. This is the boring stuff. I think it kind of explains me a little bit if you think of it that my father basically had 2 magazine subscriptions as I was a little boy, National Geographic and Popular Science. And that kind of sums up everything that you see here. One of the things that's a little bit different about me as opposed to some of the other designers that are exploring AI that are really, really good, they're really pushing the boundaries. I started talking about this back in 2016. It was the first time I had given up sort of a public talk about the usage of AI and creativity. And I got one question, and the question was about Terminator and Skynet. And the rest of it was just crickets. And I talk about it sometimes now, and I still get some crickets sometimes. But I'm an AI geek, honestly, from way back. And a lot of my clients, companies come to me right now because I have the scars and they don't have the time to understand or learn about this stuff. And I have no life. This is what I do. So this is what I love. And that's why they come to me. And fast forward to today, I got lucky is that my future caught up with my present. And we have sort of a convergence, and AI became a tangible tool to use for design. And so I do 3 different things right now, basically, from a professional level. I do this. I travel a lot around the world to give talks, workshops at conferences, on-site events for corporations. I also give individual classes and training remotely for individuals, design studios. I love it. I mean, if people are willing to sit there for a couple of hours and listen to me just totally geek out, or like a couple of weeks ago for 8 hours, yeah, I'll take it if I can keep people engaged that long. I also do hourly consulting where studios or companies just have me come in. And a lot of times it's about AI adoption right now, right? It's integration with personal processes and business operations. And then I also do projects where I'm just exploring. I'm trying to push the boundaries in a lot of different ways. Concept design for automobiles, UI design, doing design for packaging, brands. The other half is that I live on 15 acres, secluded woods in the Sierra Nevadas, and I see people face to face typically twice a week, maybe. You can see some of my coworkers here. We got the window washer. That's literally arm's length away from where I'm sitting, and she can't see through the window, but she knows something's there. And then I've also found over the years working with AI, and I think you're going to see this more and more, is that there are emotional side effects if you begin to work in it too much. It's not just tech fatigue. I have worked with companies, designers and clients. I've already seen some cases right now where people start to get into it, use it significantly. The cases of insomnia, vivid dreams, nauseousness. One of the things that can help alleviate that is you don't just go outside and take a walk, like you actually connect with nature a little bit. It definitely helps for me. I walk out, I have no cell connection. I mean, I have to disconnect. I have no choice. It helps me remember the natural world. I live in an artificial world. I push the boundaries of artificial intelligence. Helps keep me grounded. So this evening, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the next generation techniques that would not have been possible without AI. I'm not really interested in trying to copy what I can do. It's banal. It's boring. I've done it for 25 years, way too often. I'm interested in pushing the boundaries. I'm interested in what we can potentially do with artificial intelligence. I'm not interested in theory. I'm not interested in white papers. I'm interested in actually testing techniques, tools, real world. I'm interested to push it as much as I can. Let's break it. Let's find out what the weaknesses are. And tonight we're going to take a look at some of those techniques, and we're going to do it in the context of a 4-day experience design sprint. My design compadre, Hector Rodriguez, and I said, what can we do in 4 days from scratch? We wake up on a Monday morning. Let's just have an idea. Okay, the idea was, let's create a total brand product experience for a company that does e-bike safety gear and just e-bike apparel altogether. What can we do in 4 days? Before we get started though, there's a few ground rules. I would say these are requirements. If you want to be able to use AI effectively for design work, these are some mindset characteristics, some of the psychology that you have to do this. There's a misperception. This is really big, that the superpower of AI, as we apply it to creativity, as we apply it to applied arts and design, is that we're going to have AI do these sort of rote tasks. It's going to be that sort of junior designer in our pocket, right? Or our clone that's doing all of this work that we don't really want to do as creatives. Yes, it can do that, but that's commodity. What we need is, we need people to start thinking about it, is that, okay, it can do those things, but that's status quo, okay? It is the equivalent of overseas manufacturing. Great technology. You're not sure if somebody's giving it the same information. Are they getting the same answers? So is it bespoke? Is it custom? Not really. Also, if you ask them to do an original idea, don't bank on it. Can't be done, okay? You want to do real innovation? It starts with what's in your head as a designer, your intuition, your ideas. And this is also a really prevalent mindset. And I have classes sometimes with teams where not everyone is there voluntarily. And you hear a lot of people say, well, this can't replace people. It's just all superficial. This is an awful misperception. To be quite honest with you, it's a mindset. If this is your mindset, you lost before you've even started, because it gives this expectation as a tool that's going to work right away, and it's magic. And the reality is that some of the things that you're going to see this evening that I put up, the presenters that went before me, there's a lot of work that goes into learning how to use those tools. AI is a lot like applied arts and design. It's 90% science, it's 10% voodoo. There's a lot of people that also have a tough time saying, well, I don't really have the time to get into it, or I'm overwhelmed, or there's this mental hurdle where I'm used to some of these tools, but I'm not really a technology whiz. And the really nice thing about AI is that it's unprecedented as far as the technology in human history, okay? How proficient you are with it is not a matter of your IQ. It's not a matter of technical lessons. It's a matter of EQ. Getting better at using AI for design is about patience, it's about imagination, and it's about curiosity. I teach designers all over the world, and I have been for the past year. These are 3 characteristics I see over and over and over again. They come into it engaged. They don't expect results to happen immediately. They're patient with it. It's like interacting sometimes with a very precocious, genius, talented kindergartner. Okay. You know it's there. You know the potential is there, but you kind of got to pull it out in a way that the kindergartner understands. And you got to be patient too. Imagination. And when I say imagination, I don't mean imagination for what can be done. What I mean is imagination about how to use the tools. This is a mindset that's really important. There's so many ways to use these AI tools. It's really only bound by your imagination. If it can't do something that you have in mind, ask it a different way. Take a different approach. Give it an image instead of words. And then curiosity. This is a big one too. It just kind of powers these other two things. I see a lot of the designers that are really good and they pick up AI really quickly and begin to turn it into something that is bespoke for them, okay? They'll take examples of what's out there and then very quickly they've modified it to what their personal needs are. It's that curiosity. They're not afraid to be wrong. They just keep asking questions. Why? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? Over. And they rabbit hole and they get really good at it. This is kind of a final thing too, that this is a really basic mindset and it has a lot to do with conceptualization. Is there's this kind of idea, okay, it's going to be this like little prepackaged, it's going to give me a response, text, visual. There's my answer. I just plug and play. Using AI for design, the best usage of it is don't ever think of it as it's giving you complete answers. The best thing to think about is it's helping you discover questions. All right, let's get into some techniques. We're going to talk first about design GPTs and really just GPTs in general, but they are constructed, pre-engineered in a way that makes them focused on design. Just really quickly, I'm not going to get into the weeds here, but GPTs, Generative Pre-trained Transformers, high level. The best way to think about GPTs within a large language model like chat is you have the chance to set up specialists that can be different types of programmed entities that help you concentrate on different areas of design. The best way to think about this is within context. I use basically 4 different types of GPTs. So an automation GPT, which with chat is actually not as easy as you would think it would be. You say, well, large language models, AI, automation, that's what they do really well. That's what they're supposed to do really well. Chat's algorithms make it want to be conversational. It doesn't like to do a lot of things in order without stopping to go, are we good? Are we good? Okay. Can we continue? Right. Okay. So kind of sweet talking chat in a way to do automation can be done. And we'll take a look at that in a minute. An assistant. Okay. Just a generalist. I may say, I want an experienced design assistant. Not a lot of instructions, not a lot of detail. You're just asking them to be knowledgeable in different areas of design. And you just want to bounce ideas back and forth. Task specific, ideation, having an ideation partner. You'll want to set up its character as a good improv partner, always bouncing big things back to you. You may say, every time you give me an answer, come back with a question. And you just keep going back and back and back and forth. Project specific. I know design agencies, this is something that they're already doing, contract designers, freelance designers as well. The first thing they do when they get a project request, an RFP, is they set up a project-specific GPT. I think this is probably going to be the biggest trend that you'll see as far as usage of AI with small agencies. I've had classes and taught some agencies to set up GPTs for proposals. And after an investment in training, what took them 3 days now takes them about 3 hours. Same level of quality, even figuring out rates, timelines. And I mean, what designer wants to be doing those things? So that is a good example of replacing rote tasks. So what I want to do is we're going to skip out of this real quick. And we're going to take a look at a GPT. And we're going to take a look at a GPT specifically that is a combination of automation, task specific, as well as being an assistant. One of the things I encourage designers to think about GPTs when you set them up is don't just think of them as an assistant to be socialized. I set this GPT up because my weakness as a designer, and it has been for years, is simply getting started, just lighting a creative fire and getting going. I have severe ADHD, and so my mind just doesn't want to focus. I would start maybe with a sentence, and then there's something there's a little chew toy over there, anything to really get going. So this was set up to turn a weakness into a strength. This was set up to help me start asking questions instead of finding answers. Let's go underneath the hood real quick and see what we've got going. Let's just go ahead and kick it off too, and we can talk about it a little bit. So I have an idea for an app that interests and for those of you playing along at home, the prompt here is I have an idea for an app that teaches people how to cook ethnic cuisines. So we're just going to light the fire on it real quick. And you're going to see it's going to go through a series of automated steps of design methods. And if we look underneath the hood here, what we've got going on is a combination of a lot of pre-engineered prompt techniques. We've got wake words or key phrases. Anytime a user types in the words, I have an idea, bang, it sets off a series of automated steps. And then we're using formatting. We're using examples. We're having it do 6 steps in a row, create an objective statement, initial insights, trends, competitive analysis, ideal customer profiles, and then basic user personas. All right? And it's in the middle of the competitive analysis right now. These steps are sequential, right? And they're dependent. The same way you would think of a designer, okay? You wouldn't go in and say, let's develop a user persona without even knowing what our objective statement is, okay? Each time it goes through a step, it's considering what's come before, and it's building and it's building. So we can use automation, and then just really quickly, think about this as, again, this is not your answer. I mean, if you don't like where this went in just a couple of minutes, you say, let's just regenerate that. What we're doing is we're attaching a front end here of quick secondary research, quick thought starters, but it's a concept now. It's a concept that can be regenerated endlessly. And I mean, how long did that take? Okay, a couple of minutes. So we have some basic information really quickly, right? And it's because it's sequential, we can at least say we're developing a baseline in reality. Again, this is not a final concept, it's a thought starter. But then how can we use AI to take that and say we've got just these user personas, all right, yeah, demographics, pretty banal, pretty boring. How can we use AI to very quickly grow that out into something that's rich and meaningful? You saw there, it developed ideal customer profiles. Again, pretty generic. It's just giving us a nickname for a profile, basic demographics. From that, the GPT also created user personas. But again, very basic user personas. 2 or 3 sentences, bio. It gave us some personality characteristics, some ethnicity, age, location. This happens to be from the Exemplar project. I did not set it up that Tina was a marketing executive in San Francisco. It just kind of happened. So now we have this information. What can we do with this to start building out Tina's persona? One of the things is we can start developing short stories, and we can develop a short story around Tina's personality. So let's go back to our GPT, right? We've got that basic information. We've got user personas. Let's go and find a user persona to start building out their personality a little bit. And we'll take Emily. So we're going to say, create personality for Emily. Again, it's going to look at that information that came previously from her user persona, and then it's going to act like a creative writer. And we need it to act like a creative writer because we need a rich description. Great. Now we've sort of built out her persona. And one of the things that you'll notice in here is we're specifically looking at a conversational personality. What is it like to have a conversation with Emily? We'll take a look at why we did that in just a second. The other thing that we can do is we can then do a day in the life as well, a short story, and build out what does Tina's day look like. So let's go back to our GPT. We've got Emily's conversational personality, and let's just ask it to create a story for, again, we're asking it to be a creative writer because we want a rich description. And the other thing that we want to have happen in this day in the life is not just to give detail to the personality, but we want activities. We want to know what is Emily doing during the course of the day, and we want scenes. So now we're setting up the next couple of steps. What can we do with a conversational personality? First of all, with a conversational personality, we can use chat voice, and we can use chat voice to do an AI interview. This is why we did a conversational personality. We load the user persona, we load the conversational personality, and we load a day in the life for, in this case, Emily. And then we use that as our character script. In this case, my AI assistant within chat, Emma, I ask Emma to role play. Okay. And then we'll say, Emma, are you ready? I'm going to give you this information. Here's day in the life. Here's conversational personality. Here's user persona. Are you ready to play Emily? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. You got an AI generated interview script? Great. You just go through all of that. What difference does it make developing conversational personalities? Okay. From a high level, I don't need you to read these words. These are the interview transcripts for 6 different personalities. They're asked the same questions and the same amount of questions. And just by the volume of the answers here, you can see the impact that a conversational personality has. In this case, Sarah, Tina, very verbose, much more descriptive. I can tell you right now, Emily was a really tough interview. Okay. It is just like trying to pull teeth. We have a day in the life. Okay. Now what can we do with that information to help build out our personas? Let's go back to Emily. And let's ask it to create prompts for Emily. One of the reasons we asked it to be a creative writer and develop those scenes, what is that information great for? It's great for mining mid-journey prompts. So now we have different prompts that are taken directly from the chat day in the life. So you can see here, one of the things that AI allows us to do is, you've always heard this sort of, oh, designers are storytellers. Oh, really? Because I've never really seen it happen in real life. Not to this sort of level. But now we've got prompts, all right? And what can we do with those prompts? Well, we can start developing Tina's day in the life. We can take each one of those scenes. We can use character reference within Midjourney then to be creating character consistency. We'll load those prompts in directly, and as we start to build more images of Tina with character consistency using the CREF feature, we can build out all of those scenes of what Tina's day in the life was. She gets up, she's doing yoga. She hops on her bike, getting ready to ride to work, bosses it at work, right? Spends, weekends, let's go to an outdoor cafe. Oh yeah, and she's living in San Francisco too. So very quickly, you begin to use Midjourney, learn how to do this, learn how to do GPTs. No joke. You can have this in a couple of hours. The other process I want to take a look at is going even further than this. One of the great things about AI that you can do from a concepting standpoint is you can create context. It's taking that story even further. Really, what we're doing now with the imagery from a persona standpoint and also from a design concept standpoint is we're illustrating stories. We're illustrating about people. And as you get into this, definitely as I got into this, it surprised me how much more I had to think about the human and the people than I ever did before, because I was trying to help describe to a technology what human life was like. We can develop visual design languages as well, just to give us a starting point, because now we have information about Emily. In this case, we have information about the brands. We have information about her life, her lifestyle. So let's create a VBL for Emily. It pulls from that information. So now our visual brand language, matter of minutes, is connected directly to Emily, the persona, and the lifestyle. And again, basic. I'm asking it for basic descriptors. Give me a color palette. Give me some hexadecimal colors. Give me some font pairing choices. Give me some illustration styles. In the case of our exemplar project, what did that result in? Well, this is 8 months ago, but this was Chad's first swing at it. And damn, it was pretty good for a swing. I was floored. Yes, you have to do some manual translation. But if you go into this, you look at the color palette, the illustration style here, minimalistic, flat, abstract art, wavy patterns of crimson blaze, sunset gold, azure haze, topographic line work. And then we ask it to just create pattern swatches of Midjourney. It's pretty damn close, okay? So now we have a VBL. We have some brand assets. We have an illustration style. What can we do with this? Well, we also have imagery style that Chat has given us with the visual design language, brand language. Urban energetics, it's a good little nickname. We have orange tones dominate, imagery, warmth, nostalgic feel, blurred vision, or blurred imagery. So we've got this. We also have vivid color palette comes to life, fiery reds, golden yellows, changing times of day. Yeah, let's put those into Midjourney and let's start developing some imagery based off of that. It's pretty damn close. What else can we do with it? In this case, our brand experience, we need products. So let's start applying our brand, our color palette to products. Let's build these products out. And in this case, we designed some helmets, we designed some apparel, got the brand to go with it. Now here's the really great thing. Let's take Tina. Let's make Tina not only our user, but our hero. Let's start with her images. We've got her day in the life. We're building out different parts of her day. In parallel, we're building out our brand. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start creating context. Tina is going to become part of the design concepts. So first, all we're concerned about is Tina herself, okay? Yes, we want a jacket. We want it stylized with our brand. But first, we're going to concentrate on getting Tina in different imagery. And then we're going to start using our designs as character references. We're going to highlight the different regions. And now it's Tina's fashion show, right? And the other nice thing is, hey, we know she lives in San Francisco. We know she's on a bike. Let's put her on Highway 1. Let's put the Golden Gate in the back. And it just does this, okay? I'm not specifying Golden Gate. I'm not specifying Highway 1. But now we have a really nice, rich brand story to tell. And then we can bring that all together because in parallel, now we have the concept enhanced imagery. We have a color palette. We have typography. We have brand assets from an illustration standpoint. Great. Let's do a digital presence. And let's use AI tools to put all of this into responsive designed wireframes. And at the end of Thursday workday, this is what we had. So I think, though, the very big lesson here, though, is yes, we did this in 4 days. It took us 6 months to put the framework together to be able to execute this. Now, can we put any idea into the system, feed it into the hopper, and get this? Yeah. But it takes every bit of our experience, our intuition as designers, to be able to set up the framework to do this and to be the design director. I can tell you right now, if you don't have the background to do this, you can never wield a tool like this in order to get these types of results. And the final thing that I'll say is AI by default is downhill thinking, okay? It just does what's logical. It's taking a lot of cloud data. It's analyzing it and saying, yeah, based on what I've seen documented here. Humans are uphill thinking, okay? We go sensible, sensible, sensible. Screw this, I'm gonna do something with my heart, right? That's how we think. That's the hot mess of human life. AI is never gonna do that. And that's why you need to be along for the ride, is somewhere along that ride, you're gonna say, my intuition, I know what you're telling me, but I want to take a swing for the fences, right? And that's where having that sort of heart, soul as a designer, the age of AI really becomes an age of intuition and using that and executing to get something like this. Thank you for AI for Designers for having me. Thank you for playing along at home, and thank you for the studio audience.